It was now that the serious work began. On the hill in the distance is the small town of Maquis, which the Germans had made their local headquarters. The Maquis Bernard had learnt that a small convoy was leaving the town, and it was decided to set up an ambush. The Maquis invited a group of Special Air Service men, led by Lieutenant Wellstead, to join them. The operation was carefully planned, with 2 or 3 Maquis hidden either side of the road on the bend in the distance, and a number of Maquis hidden in the woods and hedgerows at this point. The SAS group were concealed a little further up the road. In addition, 2 of the Maquis were manning a Bren gun and a captured German Spandau in a small wood adjacent to a nearby farm overlooking the road. They had all made their way down to the ambush site by coming down this track. When the head of the German convoy reached this point, one of the Maquis threw a plastic gammon bomb into the leading truck to signal the start of the ambush. A ferocious gun battle then took place, and only ended when the convoy was destroyed and the entire enemy either killed or captured. Well, unfortunately, when the dust settled, it was found that one of the Maquis lads had lost his life and been killed in the action. There had been others wounded, but only one killed, unfortunately. And this stone, after the war, they put this stone to commemorate this particular action, as you'll see by the dates, battles on there. 24th of June, that was the first battle, and the other battles that subsequent came along after that date. And this stone was put there in the memory of the Maquis lad that was killed and all the other gallant men that died in subsequent battles in and around. You can see here that the people of France still commemorate and still remember the bravery and the service that these Maquis gave the country. And you can see that there's a plant been planted there with Maquis Bernard, which was the particular Maquis that was operating in this area. So it's a little token from us 3 Englishmen doing this little pilgrimage. I will put one of our little crosses that we normally put on our war cemeteries as a tribute to the gallant Maquis. Despite the attack being a success where the Maquis and SAS were concerned, the Germans made the local population of Maquis suffer. They burnt nearly every building they could to the ground. They also attacked and virtually destroyed the farm from which they believed the heavy machine guns that were enfilading the convoy were being fired from. The farm was La Verrerie, and we visited the farm and met the occupant, Monsieur Raymond Legrand. He now is 85 years old, and both he and his father were in the local Maquis. A few days before his farm was attacked, he was operating with a Maquis some 20 miles away, and the Germans had caught him out there, and he must have spent them a right old yarn, because they believed that his story, and instead of shooting him, that he quite expected they would do, they sent him to Austria. Monsieur Legrand has many mementos of his war service with the Maquis, and has a number of decorations bestowed on him by the French government after the war, which he's rightly proud of. The next action Art was involved in was to destroy a railway bridge and a turntable at a station called Tamnay-en-Bazois. Well, here we are, following Wellstead's adventures trying to blow a bridge just down here. This is the village of Tamnay. It's on the route nationale between Neve and Chateau Chiron. They'd got down here. First of all, they had mishap. They started off with a jeep and an old banger of a Fiat and a Ford car. And my brother Arthur Dray, he was in this old Fiat along with a chappie called Sturmy, and they had to be put on board the old Ford, so they were crammed like sardines in the old Ford and the Jeep, and they were following an old railway line that ran here from right to left down along here. It had long since gone on the day they arrived. It was an old track, and when they were coming down they got to this position here. This is a bridge over the old of the new railway, and all there was a couple old wooden beams, so they could no way bring their vehicles across, so they decided they ought to get back out of it, because the Germans were fairly active and quite numerous in the village. So they decided the only way, they couldn't turn, they're on this embankment on a narrow railway line, so they decided a reverse out. Well, the Ford was quite good, that got out, but the Jeep, and bear in mind this troop of SAS only had 2 Jeeps in the whole of the Morvan, and this was one of them that was usable. And as they backed out just here, the driver, was night, bear in mind, and dark, no lights because of obvious reasons, the damn thing, its back wheel went over the embankment, and that was it. So the Jeep was well and truly stuck. It was impossible for human strength to move the Jeep, and the area was constantly patrolled by the Germans. So what to do? Well, they had a French interpreter with them. He said, hang on a minute, I'll go to the farm that was down across a field. He said, I'll go down and see if I can get help. Bear in mind, this is midnight. As we were trying to find this position, we had some luck. As a farmer we spoke to happened to be the grandson of the farmer that had helped with our recovery of our Jeep that night. Despite of the lateness of the night, the old farmer was raised from his bed, and with a couple others on the farm, they took a couple of bullocks up to the track and harnessed them up to the Jeep, and within minutes their sure-footed animals had rescued their Jeep for us. They carried their explosives and one thing and another, and gingerly crossed 2 beams that were there. They were pretty rotten because the railway line had long since gone, and they got their explosives, and they then had to proceed further east to get down to their objective, which is a bridge down, a road bridge, and a railway turntable, which my brother Art and his mate were allocated to go and blow a turntable in the goods yards down there.